Auto tariffs appear to be on hold for now for one more month, but the looming threat of tariffs every month, it seems, is going to cause a lot of grief, a lot of heartache, a lot of canceled contracts, whether they go through or not. But Ford has quite an approach. They're being very, very diplomatic. They are being careful not to step on any toes while still asserting themselves, I guess, kind of, a little bit. So we're going to look at what's going on and how Ford responded. Quite well, I think, but under the circumstances, you can help me decide. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So what have we got here? Well, it's a little bit of madness. Tariffs on cars from Mexico and Canada delayed by 1 month. Yes, there's supposed to be some big, heavy things. President Trump has granted an exemption to auto tariffs on Mexico and Canada for 1 month. Yes, White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt announced Wednesday issuing a major, albeit temporary, concession on a key part of his administration's economic plan. It's more of a concept of a plan. After speaking with Ford, GM, and Stellantis, Trump said he agreed to a reprieve to ensure the big three automakers aren't harmed financially. 1 month, I do not believe, is going to be sufficient to achieve that ends. But the tariffs are not off. Not yet, anyway. At the request of companies associated with USMCA, the president's giving them all a little exemption for 1 month, so they're not at an economic disadvantage. I mean, they are. That is a big economic disadvantage. The way the USMCA was crafted was to benefit all North American manufacturing, not just the United States. Vehicles were able to travel to and from Canada for the purpose of being sold, be manufactured in any of those countries, of the 3 countries in North America, and be shipped to the other ones. And now, but it's not just the cars, it's the parts. American made doesn't mean American made. According to the USMCA, American made means North American made for the most part. So this is causing ripples all the way up the supply chain, because a lot of your blinkers and door handles come from Mexico. A lot of your V8s and V6s come from Canada. A lot of your whole vehicles come from Mexico or Canada. The Honda Prologue, the GM Blazer and Equinox, those are all from Mexico. A lot of cars are made in Mexico, and it's a bit of uncertainty. So how is Ford dealing with it? That is what we're going to discuss, because it's kind of fun. It's a fun bit of diplomacy, I guess. It's a great study to me. Ford's statement on tariff exemptions for automakers. On March 5th, the Trump administration announced an exemption to the enacted 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico for automakers that comply with the USMCA. Below is Ford's response to the exemption. As America's top auto producer, we appreciate President Trump's work to support our industry. Do you? And exempt auto companies complying with the USMCA. But you are complying. 1 month is not a big reward. It's just more uncertainty and chaos. Since President Trump's successful USMCA was signed, a quick reminder that this terrible, terrible deal was your deal all along, sir. At one point, he'd even said, who signed this? It was terrible. I mean, we had an agreement before called NAFTA. You tore that up and demanded a new one. Trade agreements are meant to be multilateral. If it's a 3-party agreement, all parties are supposed to agree. Adding additional tariffs is a violation of that trade agreement. Ford has invested billions in the United States, true, and committed to billions more in the future to both invest in American workers and ensure all of our vehicles comply with USMCA. Doesn't matter, though, because USMCA is off the table. Largely. I mean, that's what all the tariffs are about. We will continue to have a healthy and candid dialogue with the administration to help achieve a bright future for our industry and U.S. manufacturing. Will you? Is that how it works now? Because it seems like you're getting the short end of the stick. It seems like there was this deal that they spent years crafting to get it just right, and that now in days, weeks, it could all be gone. And all the lingering uncertainty makes it very difficult. Yes, the objective is to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. to the greatest extent possible, but some things just aren't made in the U.S. Some things will not be made cost effectively in the U.S. I saw someone on X say, right, well, if you put a big tariff on imported goods, And these import duties of 20 to 25% only apply to Mexico, Canada, and China, aka our three largest trading partners. And they say, well, no, what'll happen is this will motivate those companies to close the factories overseas and build them in the US. Guys, there's a reason those factories are overseas in the first place. They can build something cheaper than we can. Well, yes, but now they'll be able to build it cheaper here. Maybe cheaper than the part was, plus the tariff. It might be less than 125% of the current price, but it won't be less than 100%, and it certainly won't be the same price. It's not going to be the same. This is inflationary. You will cause inflation. But cars take years to design and build, And you want them to change in a month or 2 or 6? That's not enough time. That is very disruptive. Ford is taking a pretty clever approach, but this is chaos, and this is not good for business. So if you have an opportunity to help the powers that be understand how this all works, who this impacts, tariffs are paid by the consumer. There are companies that have lost contracts from Canada and Canadian contracts that have been closed with American businesses. These contracts are not coming back. They're just not. We saw the same thing in the trade war with agricultural products. We imposed this huge tariff on China, and China retaliated with targeted tariffs on certain products like soy. The soy farmers lost the contracts to Brazil. Brazil still makes China's soy. So that means that those farmers are now not able to ship to China. And we're seeing that with Kentucky bourbon. We're seeing it with whiskey. We're seeing it with a variety of products that Canadians are simply refusing to buy because they would have high tariffs, because they would cost too much, because you are punishing us. And then, of course, Canada said, well, if you're going to impose new tariffs, we're going to impose new tariffs as well. To which our president said, great, well, then we'll retaliate. We'll retaliate. No. You already did that. You're going to retaliate another 25. Well, that's just infinite tariffs. I guess that would just close the border. I'm not sure how effective that strategy would be. If you want to do that over a period of time, normally you would consider a phase out or a phase in, depending on which direction you're looking. But this is but an instant overnight thing with these quick stays of execution do not make for a very friendly business environment. It makes it really hard to know. You need to know what your supply chain will cost in a month, in a week. Certainly, it's 6 months in a year. If you gave them some time, maybe they could do it. But I'm not convinced necessarily that they could. It's just very, very quick to try and do all this. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. And I'm increasingly concerned that you don't either. There's now talk that SpaceX would lose the Ontario contract for Starlink. That would be worth $100 million. People have said, why are they targeting Elon? Because Elon is a very visible figure in the White House administration. He just is. He's very visible all day, every day, and he makes his powers known. There's no myth about what degree of power he holds. It is possible that they are trying to reach him with a message that they can't deliver via another method. In the FAFO equation, we might be finding out now. This might be our opportunity to find out. I hope not. I hope that calmer heads will prevail, because this hurts everyone. We can argue that this will benefit Tesla, because Tesla is the most American-made top 3 or 4 or maybe 5 cars. They've certainly got 5 cars in the top 10 most American-made. The Cybertruck might not be top 10 overall, but it is the most American-made truck. But it still has a lot of foreign parts in it. All the cars do, and all of the cars will go up in price. And when it says most American made, a lot of that number may already include Canada, because under the USMCA, that was the same thing. And really Mexico was too, even though you had to break it out differently as a slightly different line item. This will impact the cost of a new Tesla. Well, they'll just tighten their belts. Okay, then this will affect the earnings per share for Tesla. It's one of the two. People will just pay the tariff. If people were willing to pay an extra $500 or $5,000 for a car, That would already be the price. Tesla's lowered their price to get more buyers into it. Elon said that there's not a demand problem. There's a cost problem. There's a price problem. Everyone, when he made this statement 2-3 years ago now, he said everybody wants one. The problem is not everyone can afford one, which is why we're trying to make them so much more affordable so everybody can get one. This will make them less affordable. And if we're going to add on to that $1,000 federal EV tax and get rid of the $7,500 EV credit, we're going to sell a lot fewer cars. So what is your objective? Think about that and think about how all of this fits in with that. And if you approve of it or disapprove of it, in either case, maybe let your representatives know. Let them know if this is something that you want them to pursue or oppose or whatever it may be. I think it's a little chaotic. I think you can make big changes as long as you allow enough time for everyone to adjust. So maybe that's what we need to do. I don't know. What did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Keep it non-insane. I am dealing with enough insanity in the comments as it is. Everybody else, like, subscribe, do what you do. Stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots when next we shall meet.